Good morning, scholars. Happy Monday. Today is Monday, April 27th, 2020. All right, guys, this week in our problems of the day, we are going to be focusing on subtraction with regrouping. So rather than do a problem with you this morning, I want to focus on keywords we use when we are finding that we have to use the operation of subtraction in word problems. Let's take a look at some of our keywords. Subtraction keywords. Okay, guys, a couple words that we might look for are take away. Well, if we have something and we take some away, we know that, of course, we'll be subtracting. We might find the word decrease, minus, less, take, maybe left, fewer, subtract, how many more. We might also see how many less, and we'll see difference. Now, those are just some keywords, and you know what? Our main job, remember, when we're solving for word problems, is that we have 4 jobs we have to do. So there's some keywords that we'll look at, and I'll put those I'll post this on your journal as well today. But remember, there's always still 4 jobs we have to do. Remember, number 1, we always start with reading the problem. Are we just reading it just to make sure we're practicing the words? No, with word problems, of course, we have to understand what we're doing. Those keywords can help us understand, but they won't tell us for sure what we have to do. We have to think what's happening in this problem, like a reader would. 2, then we're gonna find those keywords and numbers. 3, we'll write our equation, and 4, we're going to solve it. That means we're going to do our job. All right, let's take a look at today's example of our problem of the day and see if we can find the key words. All right. On our problem of the day, this is our example, and it says Zainab wants to run 41 laps around the field. So we know we have one key number, 41. It says so far. That wasn't in our list, but we know something has happened so far. So we want to think about what we do with the numbers that come. She has run 25 laps. Now here's our real job. This is going to help us understand what operation we're going to use. How many laps does Zainab have left to run? Do you see that keyword? How many does she have left? That means we have to be finding a difference because she has a goal of what she wants to accomplish, 41 laps. And so far, she's accomplished 25 of those. That means if we take our 41 and we subtract our 25, we're going to find out how many she has left. See how those keywords help us? So we want to make sure as we're going into our problem of the day, we always are thinking, what keywords do I see and what key numbers? All right, scholars, let's think about today's SWON math. This week in our SWON math, we're going to continue our work with arrays. Remember, arrays are a group of objects in rows and columns. So let's take a look at our example. We're always going to have a total, and you can see in this array, I have 1, 2, 3, 4 columns, and I have 1, 2, 3 rows. Remember, arrays will always make a block because they're going to have columns and rows. Okay, let's take a look at a few other examples today. Let's take a look at this one here, our red array. You can see that we have a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 circles in this array. In this one here, let's take a look. Is this an array? I see that I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 circles, but this is not an array, is it? No, because it doesn't make a block. We don't have even numbers of columns in this array, so it can't be an array. So let's turn it into an array. See, if I don't have the same amount in each row, see these have 4, but these ones only have 1. That's not a real array. This column has 4, but these ones only have 2. So let's finish up to make sure that they're even first, okay? All right. Now we have an array, and it has 4 in each row and 4 in each column. So let's take a look at our work with our arrays. Now let's start with this red one here. Let's see, how many circles do you see in each column? Let's start with that. Here's our columns. Our columns go up and down. So we have 2 in each column. Okay, so since we have 2 in each column, we're gonna write the number 2 underneath it, and we can add our columns. 2 plus 2 plus 2, and that gives us the sum of what? Let's count them. 2, 4, 6, 8. 8, it gives us the sum of 8. Now guys, I'm gonna draw this exact same array. Here it is again. So I know I have 2, 4, 6, 8. But this time, instead of columns, I'm going to look at rows. And remember, our rows go from side to side. So I'm going to circle up a row. And now I see that my row has how many in it? It has 4 in each row. 1, 2, 3, 4. So remember, our rows have to have equal amounts in arrays, and our columns have to have equal amounts. But let's look. Even though I have 4 plus 4, it still is a total of 8. So whether I circle up my array by columns or by rows, I'm always still going to have the same total because I have the same number of circles, no matter which way I want to count them. I might want to count them by columns. I might want to count them by rows. Okay, guys, now let's take a look at our next example. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 in a row. Let me circle those up. So each row has 4, and how many rows do we have? We have 4. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4 rows, but they each have 4 in them. So I'm going to write the equation 4 plus 4 plus 4 plus 4. Well, I wonder what that equals to. Now, scholars, one thing we can actually start learning to do is counting by different numbers. Besides 2, 5, and 10, we can actually count by 4s. We won't do it today. We'll just count them up, though. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. That means 4 plus 4 plus 4 plus 4 equals the sum of 16. Now, scholars, I'm not going to make a new array. I'm just going to circle up my columns. Let's take a look at what we get. I have 4 in one column. I have 4 in another column. And I have 4 in another column and 4 in my last column. Wait a minute. That looks very familiar. 1, 2, 3, 4. So in this case, because there's 4 in each column and 4 in each row, I'm going to have the exact same equation. 4 plus 4 plus 4 plus 4. Scholars, remember how we already counted the total? That means we already know the sum of 4 plus 4 plus 4 plus 4, don't we? It's going to be what? 16, of course. So I will write the number 16 as my sum. As you go into your math work today, you're going to be creating your own arrays. Remember, arrays have to have the same number in every row and the same number in every column. Look to make sure you're double checking how many do they tell you are in each row, how many do they tell you are in each column. And when you're going into it, please make sure you watch the example. It's really going to help you understand how you can find out how you're going to make each row with the total that you want in your array. All right, guys, have an awesome day of learning.